Anyway, welcome back to the... That's a great way to start. Welcome back to the podcast. For any of you watching who are into Game of Thrones and you've seen the stuff that you've seen on Game of Thrones, I just got past halfway through the third season on the one episode whose particular episode I cannot name. All I can say is Red Wedding. I'm still recovering. I don't know what's happening and I don't know what's real and I'm really upset. Anyway.
You're not going to like the end of this season. You're not.
You just built. Here's the thing. You came in here. You built it up. It's like the ending season finale is one of my favorites. And they're like, okay, that sounds cool. And then you say like, you're not going to like it. It's not happy. Like,
oh no, it doesn't end happily. Like what do you think? No,
I don't know.
But that's Game of Thrones in general. What is happy about Game of Thrones? What's happy?
There's
what? Tell me.
That's generally what I was considering last night about like after the ending of that. Like, how do you recover from this? Like, what the heck?
How do you sleep?
Genuinely, the happiest moments are when like the people you don't like die.
It is,
which
doesn't happen
pretty
often.
Messed up because
it's season 3 is really good about introducing new people to hate, and all of them are disgusting.
That is one of the things that I think people took away the wrong message from Game of Thrones after a while.
Push it a little closer to your face.
I think people took away the wrong message from Game of Thrones after a while because I feel like they started rooting for certain people to die, which to some extent was kind of the point. But it's also like these people are barbaric, and you
like
shouldn't
no one in the
really...
show is true. Like truly, the honorable people all get killed off.
Yeah,
and even them like have a shred of like, yeah, that was not 100% cool.
By the very end of it, there's very very few not terrible people left.
Yeah, and I'm aware of what happens at the very end. Like, I've talked about Game of Thrones for a while, because I know, like, the vast majority of what happens to the story. I've just never watched it fully all the way through. I've seen individual episodes I've never seen. Obviously, I've never seen The Red Wedding. Dear heaven to Betsy. By the way, like, I'll get to it in a second. It's a show where everyone has its problems, but the show forces you to root for bad people. Like Jaime Lannister. Jaime Lannister is, for all intents and purposes, an Alabama yeehaw. What the fuck?
I mean, the sister, right?
Yeah. But you come to really like him, which is a strange thing to say for that kind of person. And he's also, not only that, he's a murderer. And he kills people who he's related to gain some kind of, like, higher ground or something. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker. Like, all people kill for their own purposes in the show. But those people you still end up rooting for because there's someone so much worse on the other side.
Yeah, it's not... Really, there's no one person who hasn't done terrible things. And even if they end up, like, being on the right side of history, so to speak, by the end of it...
Right.
I mean, they still give into, like, very sadistic... Like, what? You did me wrong... So I want to watch you die in the most painful way possible, and that's like one of the big cathartic moments at the end of like every other season is like some big terrible person dies.
Yeah, it's free. By the way, I'm going to remove Steve for like the first time in quite a few episodes. Steve is going to be dethroned for a second, so I can actually look upon my freaking guests in the eye and not turn my head and like, hey, how you doing?
Like a little crick in the neck. Just
I didn't like the way Steve was looking at me.
Well, Steve, he looks intimidating, but he means well. He's a well-hearted individual, despite the fact that he doesn't have a heart or a soul or is alive in any way.
He's got big old teeth.
I'll take your word for it.
He's got big old teeth. Okay, by the way, like that was a long intro. This is Jace McArthur right here, ladies and gentlemen. He is also a student filmmaker, also pro filmmaker. He's doing his own short film work. He's worked for other directors in the industry. He's working his way up to the ladder. And this is Ariel Riley. She's my friend.
I'm just happy to be here.
She knows movies. She knows Wes Anderson movies.
Oh my god, I love Wes Anderson.
Which, by the way, like I don't care if you're a Wes Anderson fan. The least you could do is just watch Grand Budapest Hotel. You still have not watched Grand Budapest Hotel.
I'm sorry.
It's a freaking shame.
Sorry.
It's a freaking shame.
It is probably one of his best movies.
I've seen Fantastic Mr. Fox and I've seen Isle of Dogs.
That's not the best though. They are really great stop motion films, but they're not the best. I would put them in like the middle of my list.
But here's the deal: like I respect certain people who haven't seen certain things because to this day, and probably I hope until I die, I still have not seen The Godfather.
What?
I hold that as a badge of honor, to be honest with you. The reason why, don't get mad at me. Here's the reason why. Actually, get mad at me. I love that stuff.
Okay.
Every time, and I've talked to a bunch of filmmakers, producers, directors, all of them see The Godfather, and all of them love talking about The Godfather. And I've been like in length discussions about two people like going at it about the symbolism and the cinematography and the freaking dialogue and everything that goes on about that movie and the story structure and everything. And I'm sitting there like, and I obviously I don't know anything. And then they get to me. And it's like, what do you like about the movie? It's like, never seen the movie. And immediately rage in their eyes. Always rage.
That is... I have seen The Godfather, but yes, that elitist gatekeeping mentality of like, oh, dude, are you really a real film fan if you haven't seen this, and this? And I'm like, I'll fully admit, I haven't seen everything. There's a lot of stuff
Heat.
that is like I still need to see Heat. I'm a huge action movie fan, and I haven't seen Heat, and so to my eternal shame. But that elitist mentality of like you have to see this, and this, and like that list of movies changes depending on what person you're talking to. Normally it's like The Godfather. Normally it's like Citizen Kane. But then after that, it's pretty much anything. Like you have to see Star Wars. You have to see I don't know, Jurassic Park. You have to see Casablanca. You have to see this, that, and the other. And saying, oh, you're not a real film fan unless you've seen this. It's just no. Like first of all, there's so much media, especially today.
Crap ton of media.
Thousands all over the world of movies and television. Jesus Christ. Television? You're going to get through, what, tens of thousands of hours
the freaking thing
of
now.
television that we're making every single year? Like, you just can't keep up with it all.
And don't forget, like, every episode, at least nowadays, you see 75% of shows is 45 minutes to an hour plus each episode. You're basically watching a mini movie, and it's 10 episodes a season most times, and you've got 5 seasons of a show, and you're just like, that's like hundreds of hours of TV I don't have the time to watch. I mean, I personally don't have the time to watch.
For sure. I think there's a lot to say about, I guess, filmmakers who really put a lot of emphasis in seeing those old kind of movies and take, like, I guess, their own personal opinions out in the movie, because everyone wants to see like the old classics, Casablanca, The Godfather, Citizen Kane, like all of those movies, and everyone can have their own opinions about those movies, and everyone can say like for historical reasons you have to see this if you want to be a filmmaker, yada yada yada. I don't care. I'm to a point. I don't really care to see every movie, and if there's a movie I'm going to see because I want to see it.
Yeah.
And there are movies I just don't want to see, and like I don't get the whole hype with Citizen Kane. If I had another one of my friends right here, we would be debating back and forth with this, but I don't get Citizen Kane. I don't get it. I get the reasons why. I know it's a historical whole movement with lighting and camera movements and the way they moved the camera and the way they told the story, yada, yada, yada. I know that. But it's so boring. I can't get through the movie. It's exhausting to get through.
Well, that's another thing. It's like, you can analyze and say, oh, this means this and this means this. Which, like, cool.
Yeah.
But there are some things that just don't speak to you, to your tastes as a person.
No.
Like, God, what's an example?
Nope.
Well, I actually really
I think we all liked Nope.
I think we all like Nope, yeah.
Well, I'm talking about, like, people in our theater when we went to go see it, and people were, like, walking out, like, halfway through and getting up and leaving.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, there's not, like, a ton of people that didn't like it. I'm just saying that people were confused, and a lot of people were puzzled and didn't really get what he was trying to say.
It is a very dense movie.
It is very dense. We did have that moment of like, that was a lot when we went to go see it, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Like a movie that's like super, super popular that everyone who watches like Ghibli movies, for example, that everyone loves is My Neighbor Totoro.
So good.
I know everyone loves it, and I see why everyone loves it, and I totally respect it, and I think it accomplishes what it's trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I can't get through it.
I get it.
It has no plot. It doesn't really have a conflict. It just kind of goes where the kids go, because like kids are really aimless. It's trying to capture like what it's like to be a little kid.
Yeah.
And in that, I think it accomplishes it. But dude, I'm telling you, I love kids. I'm really good with kids. I never complain about kids. As opposed to her.
Lies.
I thought she was like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
But dude, the kids in that movie I find to be so annoying.
I feel like that's kind of a tendency for anime movies. The kids are just like, shut your face right now.
Yeah. It's,
like your parents never clearly did not invent spanking.
Just, I can't. I don't enjoy it. I find the kids in that particular example to just be grating, and that's just me. That's just a me thing.
Yeah.
But like, Citizen Kane is like, I won't watch it for my own enjoyment, but I respect it a lot, and I get a lot out of it. It's not really something that I have fun watching.
Yeah.
So I get something out of it. It just has a different purpose to me in
For
watching
sure.
Citizen Kane. But yeah.
I thought you were gonna keep going. That's why I looked at you. I was like, is he gonna keep going or is he gonna stop?
I think all of that, because I was talking about Mark with this on the last podcast that we did, and a lot of the personal enjoyment that I find in movies that I truly do love are the weird small moments that I find in movies that either click with me emotionally for whatever reason, or just remind me of something in childhood, or the reason why I love something. There's this movie I love that's one of my favorite movies, and to say that it might be my favorite movie, Pride and Prejudice. I love this movie for entirely different reasons, but one thing that stands out to me, one of the reasons why I like the movie is the slow pace, but specifically when Elizabeth's character just talks about her walking, and there's these grandiose wide shots of her just walking, and they hold on that for a quick second. And I'm a humongous introvert. I like just taking walks and just being alone, and with that kind of character, I so resonate with her, and I'm that's just relaxing, and seeing that happen, it just soothes me, it calms me, and I feel with that kind of stuff, there are certain movies that can do that for people. Because obviously everybody's different, everyone's gonna have a different kind of emotional reaction, and maybe you won't get that for Studio Ghibli, or maybe that's Neighbor Totoro movie. Maybe that doesn't do it for you for those specific reasons.
I love almost every other Ghibli movie ever made. It's just that one that everyone loves. It's the friggin' logo of the company. And
it is.
It just doesn't get... I love Totoro. I love the Cat Bus. I love those specific characters. Just the movie as a whole, it just doesn't really speak to me.
I think that there's other movies that encapsulate childhood wonder and do a better job of it in the Ghibli catalog than Totoro does.
Oh yeah, Ponyo?
Mm-hmm.
That's about
Ponyo.
little 5-year-old kids. I love Ponyo.
I've never seen Ponyo, I'm not gonna lie.
Ponyo was good. Secret World Ariete, that was also...
Secret World of Ariete is awesome.
Yeah.
It's very good. I did not appreciate it enough as a kid. Rewatching it as an adult, I'm it's actually kind of good.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hits. Not better than House Moving Castle, but it's good.
Yeah, I'll say one of my favorite anime movies, not even a Studio Ghibli movie, is Your Name.
Your Name is fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
I can't... It was Makoto Shinkai, I think is the director. And he is a very particular filmmaker in that... I've seen 2 of his films so far.
Yeah.
I might have... I think I've seen 3, actually. And his most popular movies that he's come out with most recently is Your Name and Weathering with You.
Oh my god, that's also so good.
Apparently that's I didn't know there was a sequel.
Well, it's not really a sequel. It happens in the same
Yeah.
world. There's cameos from the 2 main characters in Your Name.
Okay.
They appear for a second, and so they happen in the same world, and they're very similar films. They're both love stories. They both have more nail-biting tension in those little teenage romance movies than in a horror thriller. I'm not joking.
Or anything in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
But
I like that movie, don't get me wrong. No, I didn't.
I like that movie too. But he's very particular in that I've never seen a romance movie the way he makes romance movies. Whenever the romance in his movies is there are life-threatening situations. There are life-threatening consequences to everything you have to do, and you have to run to the other person. And whenever they're running to get to the other person before they die or something terrible happens, I'm run to her, man.
Oh my god,
run to her.
It is.
I'm just and I am biting my nails every single second because there's these earth-shattering consequences.
Literally earth-shattering.
You can watch When Harry Met Sally and that's wonderful and that's, but a comet isn't gonna come and destroy your town because you didn't get with this one girl.
And that's that's the one of the greatest things about anime movies is they can go over the top with everything, because you can have a movie with a premise that it starts out with, which is a body switch premise, but in that movie that's not enough. You have to go one step further and not only have these 2 characters on the opposite side of the world and have all these events in place, but there's a comet that kills people and it's in the past. which means you have to freaking time travel.
Spoiler
and all
alert
that
for anyone
garbage.
watching.
It's a
Very much
it's
spoiler.
a strange spoilers. Everyone dies.
Yes.
It's a surreal thing. Is the only thing you can get away with in that format, which is anime. And again, I think this is a movie that a lot of people who don't like anime can really get into, because my brother is a whole I'm not a weeboo, I don't like anime, anime's for weebs, and he saw that movie, he's like, I love this movie.
I mean,
he's like, yeah.
I mean,
great.
for you, it was House of Castle was your you're like, oh, weeb.
Yep,
I don't like weeb
100%.
stuff, and
I
then
did not like.
No.
You're the one who showed me anime for the first
I
time,
did.
and I was like, this stuff is garbage. Other than Pokemon, which is the G, anything else is garbage.
I was like, no, you got to watch this. I promise you, it'll change your life. It's 2.5 hours.
And
it'll change your life.
It was freaking awesome, and I'm still I still got images from that film in my head. It's freaking weird, and the weird man guy who's flying, and the young lady, deformed old lady now, it's a strange movie, and it's something you can only get away with in anime.
But it's so whimsical. It's so wonderful.
The soundtrack. Can we just talk about how? What's it called? Joe Hayashi.
Joe Hisaishi.
Oh,
Yeah.
Come on, pronunciation. How his soundtrack literally sets the tone for the entire movie. It is perfect.
He's composed pretty much every single Studio Ghibli film out there, I think, or just about every one of them. And he is brilliant.
He encapsulates whimsy so
amazing.
well.
If you've seen a Ghibli movie, he's not as well known in America as someone like
John Williams.
John Williams, but if you've seen a Ghibli movie, you can hum every single tune in that movie by memory just from watching it maybe once or twice. He's incredible.
Studio Ghibli version of John Williams.
Yeah.
We'll compare to that.
As far as popularity,
Yeah.
Sure, popularity.
I definitely always recommend that one to people who don't like anime. Your Name and Wuthering View are also two very good other recommendations. But House of Castle is just so... It's weird enough to be like, wow, this is whimsical and different. But it's also got mainstay stuff like romance and tension, suspension, and
something you can easily latch onto.
Yeah, something that makes sense at all. So then someone's sitting there not like, what? And they're like, oh, I actually kind of get this. I kind of like this.
There's always a lot of world-ending elements to those anime movies. Every anime movie, at least that I've seen, just goes one step beyond what it's supposed to do as far as genre. And just this would never work in a freaking live-action movie. This would be stupid. But in this movie, it freaking works. There's a meteor headed to this freaking town, and everyone dies.
That's
in
why...
a normal movie, that's freaking stupid. And also,
that's how it is in Death Note. The Death Note movie on Netflix, that's why it was trash, because it doesn't translate well.
Translate well.
That is one thing. It's just anime, and this is something I'm very happy about, and just foreign film in general is becoming more and more popular all the time.
Korean films specifically.
Korean films, especially after Squid Game, which I'm sure we can talk about in a minute, but they're getting more and more popular all the time. And if you look at those Netflix adaptations or any anime adaptation, they were from 1 or 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
And up until recently, anime hasn't been hugely popular.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about something like Dragon Ball or Pokemon or something like that. A small handful of things have gotten really popular, but they're getting more and more popular all the time. And if you look at those, big budget studio features, I don't know, Dragon Ball Evolution or something like that, garbage,
the Americanized version of that bull crap.
If you look at these big wig suits, these executives who are greenlighting this stuff and are giving them these huge budgets, which what are they in their 60s, 70s?
Well, that's studios doing what they do. Studios don't inherently understand the reasons why.
They know what makes
money. You
money.
can say that for most modern media nowadays. Star Wars, the reason why that's popular is not the reason they're cranking out crap nowadays. Again, I can always rant on this forever. You have the most popular characters in Star Wars in a series on Netflix, not Netflix, Disney Plus right now. Yeah. And they face off, and it's boring as all get up. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. How can you make that boring? How can you make that insufferably? Yeah. And it's studios don't understand that, and it's really just the people. Again, I'm part of the fan group, who's part of these. I guess just people who we know we like about them, and we know what makes them special, and they get the generics. They get. The Death Star. We're gonna put the Star Destroyer, the armies, the action, but anything past that is just not there.
Yeah, that's one of the things. If we're going to talk about Star Wars, is like they understand the superficial things.
Yeah.
Like we want to see lightsabers and stormtroopers and X-wings, but like the original Star Wars, that's about imperialism. It's about revenge. It's about religion. I don't know why I said. It's
Revenge.
about. Well, actually, yeah, revenge is kind of a part of it. Yeah, but those are about like colonialism, Nazism. It has ideas. It's not the deepest movie in the world, but it has ideas. And if you look back on like everything that inspired George Lucas, he's pulling from a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at stuff like the prequels, say what you will about the prequels, but like
prequel fan.
Hey, prequel fan too.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna stay up right here. I think severely underrated. My favorite Star Wars movie.
This is why we're friends.
My man.
I won't go that far. I don't. I don't dislike.
Okay,
Revenge
what's
of
your
the
favorite
Sith.
Star Wars movie?
What's my favorite?
What's your favorite Star Wars
If you
movie?
say one of the new ones, I
that's a bit-
swear to God.
What?
You say one of the new ones, I swear to God.
You haven't even seen any of the new ones.
But I've heard enough from you,
haven't
Jacob,
seen
other
any
people.
of them.
Okay,
I've heard-
that does invalidate your opinion a little
I
bit.
watched
We'll get to
Rogue
that.
One. I watched the Star
That's
Wars.
the good one.
That's like very much agreed to be like one of the most universally liked of all the new ones.
Yeah, and that movie just keeps getting better.
Hey, I like unpopular ones too. Solo. Anyone? We saw
No.
that one. We
No.
saw that one.
We did?
I think it was either me and you or me
I don't
and
think
someone
we
else.
saw that one. I think I saw that one with. You know what? I don't know.
Whatever. I saw it and I
Yeah.
liked it. And everyone's like, "No, this movie's trash." Like, how could they butcher Han Solo's character? Like his name.
Who are you
came from-
talking to? The Chad next to you is like, no, man.
Solo
Basically.
is actually a really good example of the way Disney treats Star Wars. Is like, I don't think Solo in and of itself, if Solo were created in a vacuum and there was no other Star Wars thing ever in existence, and Solo was just about a random guy going through space and having adventures or whatever, I think it would be fine. But Disney made that movie, a movie no one, not a single soul asked for. People were, when they said, "Oh, we're going to start doing Star Wars spin-offs," people were saying like, "Oh man, we can have an Obi-Wan movie, we can have a Boba Fett movie." Oh man, and like Obi-Wan was like pretty much the
Han
most.
Solo.
Jar Jar Binks
Yes,
movie.
we went to the one character other than Jar Jar Binks that no one wanted. No
the
one
character was perfect.
It was
in and of
fleshed out
itself.
all the way.
He doesn't
story
need
was
anything
perf-
added on to him.
Was everyone? I don't think I have never met nor heard of anyone who was asking for a Han Solo movie. But they made one, and then when they made it, they gave so much importance to a whole bunch of things that I promise you
Were props in the original.
Even
Where'd
the
he get his blaster? How'd he get his name? Where'd he get the Millennium Falcon?
not a single soul ever asked any of those questions.
Hey! But I enjoyed it. As
Yeah,
someone
and
who
I'm glad you enjoyed
surface
it.
levelly kind of likes Star Wars, I like the stuff that no one likes. Hot take.
Well, I'm
I
glad
like
you enjoyed it.
I had a good time. I didn't have to follow any stupid story. I didn't have to have any backstory or anything. I didn't have to watch the other original movies, any prequels, nothing. I got to just enjoy a summer movie that just so happened to be about Star Wars.
Well, in
And
a
I
way
think,
that's
I want to actually argue that point a little bit. I think to your point that makes sense. And that kind of movie in and of itself, I feel like a lot of people will actually latch onto because it doesn't necessarily need to tie into anything, even though it's the origin for this and the origin for this and the
Yeah.
origin for this. I think it's a generic movie taken
Yeah.
of itself, and it's an okay movie
It's
if
not
it's
like
on the
bad.
Star Wars.
It's just-
I don't think it's bad. It's just not good.
It's just bland. It's just there.
there's nothing
But-
about it that makes
yeah.
me say like, oh yeah, I got something out of this.
Yeah.
The only thing I could imagine you getting out of it is like, oh, you saw some cool enough space action.
Yeah.
You got some action escapism for a while,
Yeah.
and
Donald Glover.
But here's the problem
Yeah.
with that. Like, that's the problem everybody has with the sequels. The sequels, in and of itself, like, they almost try to be their own movies, and you can't do that if you're making a sequel trilogy movies. The biggest problem I had with, like, the Rian Johnson movie, The Last Jedi, is because it tried
boy,
to
are we
be its
getting into this
own
conversation?
individual. Yeah, we're gonna. I get like, who hasn't talked about this movie a bajillion times, and I'm
I
gonna
know,
talk about
it-
it one more time.
it's like if we want to get into it, we can get into it. But this conversation's done. To
He has
death, dude.
opinions.
Yeah.
This conversation.
I'm just saying, like, why people, like, a lot of people like have this issue with this specific movie. It tried to be its own thing when it should have been a continuation of the story. It tried to be very selfish in its portrayal and like what I want to do with these characters, and saying like we're going to continue these storylines, we're going to broaden these characters, and said we're going to make this our own thing. That's a very selfish thing to do if you're considering it's Star Wars and you're a trilogy of films, and you have now blocked it off where the last movie suffered because of it. I think the last movie is worse in every way, but that was the reason why it was worse. It had no ground to work off of.
I think Rian Johnson tried with the movie.
I don't.
You've never
certainly
seen
think he
I
tried.
have heard, and I've read a lot of stuff about it because I get down a rabbit hole while you're coming from my edges.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Coming from my edges. But I was saying,
Would you say you had your limit?
Hold the mic. Hold on. As the shirt says,
Hi, I'm Ariel now.
I am at my limit.
Now no one knows what you're saying because you asked him to hold the mic.
Whatever. I'm at my limit. That's what the shirt says. I'm
Okay,
at my
so
limit.
what is your favorite Star Wars movie? I want to have this conversation.
I mean, Empire Strikes Back. I mean,
Empire Strikes Back. Okay.
that's like the generic answer, but I mean, it's the best one.
Okay.
I don't know how
I
you
will
can
go
argue
as far
against
to
it.
say that the story of Revenge of the Sith is better than Empire Strikes Back. I will honestly say the execution of the story is just as good as Empire Strikes Back, in my opinion.
Do I really want to have this conversation?
Let's go.
Oh my
It's
god.
the final countdown.
How? What? Like, dude, I don't even dislike Revenge of the Sith. I think it's vastly inferior, but but the prequels and the original trilogy, each trilogy really feels distinct from one another in that what's wrong with them, what's right with them. Each one has very different qualities.
Yeah.
The prequels, a lot of what people don't like about the prequels, number one, is they feel extremely artificial. That the effects were revolutionary for their time, but they've been really dated over time.
Oh, quite a bit.
Yeah, and as a result, they feel extremely artificial. They kind of feel like cartoons, especially Phantom Menace. Mm-hmm. And the original trilogy just feels so grounded, kinetic, tangible. Mm-hmm. Like when you compare the lightsaber fight at the end of Empire Strikes Back and the lightsaber fight at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Like that Revenge of the Sith fight at the very end, it's full of really cool spectacle. I think that's a very fun fight.
Yeah.
But when I'm watching that fight, I'm not like on the edge of my seat thinking like, oh yeah, at any moment one of them could die.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, oh, it's fun watching them swish around their laser swords for a while.
I don't think that was the point. George Lucas knew that wasn't the point because we all knew that they're going to live. We got to see them in the next trilogy. I think the whole point of that scene is just seeing the long, outdrawn betrayal of Anakin and Kenobi, and it's also seeing Jedi at their prime. And I know a lot of people have like gone all about like the whole lightsaber battles and the prequels feel like a dance. I think that adds to it. I think that makes them feel 100% more spectacle, and it makes them like I think it makes sense for a Jedi to be that acrobatic, be that skillful, be that freaking fast. Especially that's actually them dueling. That they're moving that fast. You won't get to see those kinds of lightsaber duels in the sequel movies. They're moving 2 miles an hour with those lightsaber fights. You ever seen Rey and freaking Kylo Ren in that last fight in the last movie? It took them 5 minutes to connect their lightsabers. They're so slow. It's like two old people hitting canes together. It's disgusting.
Yeah. When you see the fight at the end of Empire Strikes Back, like by the end of it, Luke Skywalker is bloody and sweaty and exhausted. Mm-hmm. Like you are convinced this kid is on the verge of death. Yeah, he's about to die.
I'm not going to argue with too much with Empire Strikes Back because I mostly agree with you on this stuff. I just think Revenge of the Sith is a little better in my opinion. But keep going.
Well, Revenge of the Sith gives you pretty much everything you wanted from the prequels, like from the beginning. Yeah, I've heard the argument before that you could honestly just, if you've never seen any Star Wars movie and you were watching the prequels, you could pretty much just watch Revenge of the Sith and get pretty much everything you need out of the story.
That's exactly what I do. I don't really watch the other two. I just watch that one.
Yeah, you could everything you want out of the prequels you get from Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. You don't really need much else.
But guess what? Phantom Menace is also pretty good. Just saying.
Phantom Menace is okay at best and bad at worst.
But
Attack of the Clones is a piece of garbage.
But we like the prequels in this house.
I enjoy the prequels and respect the prequels. Again, George Lucas revolutionary filmmaking. If you watch any of the behind the scenes of the movies, you will respect the crap
But
out of
he's
this
not
man.
Steven Spielberg. Respectfully,
No,
he's not Steven
He's
Spielberg.
not Steven Spielberg. But he's not the same. But he doesn't have to be. He's a different guy. He revolutionized everything about the modern blockbuster with those movies, and most of his crap that was invented back then we use nowadays, and even perfected with stagecraft and stuff. The stuff they use now with the volume and all that crap. Like all the stuff that he had to pioneer. None of the stuff that he wanted to do in Phantom Menace was possible. They just had to figure out a way how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. May not have been the best execution, but still very impressive. And even Jar Jar Binks, for as silly as that character is, and even I don't really think it's that bad of a character, to be honest with you.
That's a hot take.
I don't even think he's that terrible. I don't even think Jar Jar Binks is that bad. I rewatched him. It's like, he's okay. He's all right.
Well, I mean, you can't take George Lucas out of film history. He's too important a person.
Oh, yeah.
But like, once he gave some of the writing duties and gave the directing duties to someone else, and stepped away from the director's chair for a while, the movies got better.
Yeah.
It's like he's a great idea guy, and he's a great producer.
Yeah.
Like, take some ideas from him, and then go write the script yourself.
Which is what Disney needed.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I've talked about the sequels so much.
Here, don't talk about the sequels anymore. No more talk about the sequels. We're just going to talk about the originals and George Lucas and continue that conversation. No more sequels. No more Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
No more that.
He's not that guy.
It is exhausting. It is exhausting.
That's one thing I really can't get over about the Star Wars fandom, and I'm a Star Wars fan.
Me too.
I love Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, I cannot associate with the Star Wars fandom as a whole. You were talking about Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is an impressive piece of special effects.
Yeah, sure.
There wasn't really much to talk about as far as fully animated CG characters.
Yeah.
And as bad as Jar Jar Binks is, he looks tangible. You believe he's there. But
yeah.
The thing about Star Wars fandom is it's so toxic. It's so toxic.
Well, so is every fandom. I think Star Wars fandom
is special, though.
Star Wars fans are
special.
Don't get me wrong. There's some crazy Star Wars fans. I understand that. 100%. But there are also people that just don't want to be associated with that and just say, hey, I just like Star Wars. Yeah. I just want to
absolutely.
like Star Wars.
I think you and I are that.
Yeah.
But
it's like the saying of band kids. I think we can all relate to this whole band kids thing.
Oh, man.
Because there's band kids and then there's kids in band. And you don't want to be associated as a band kid because they're just a different breed. You're just I'm just that kid that just does band.
Because I was a kid in band, and then there were band kids.
Band kids?
And that was a cult.
Different.
It was a cult.
Very, very different.
And it's kind of the same thing with Star Wars. You can be a Star Wars fan, and then there's the cultists.
Yeah.
those dudes. The crazy people.
They're a little
the one that
scary.
tattooed
and
Darth Vader on their, which don't even think that's a bad thing. I think that's kind of cool. But at the same time, there's a wrong way to go about it.
And honestly, I think that those people who are the really toxic ones, I think those are a very small minority.
Mm-hmm.
But they are the loudest of everyone. And it...
Whoops.
But the smart people, the mature people, those are the people who are like, I like Star Wars, and then someone says, I don't like Star Wars, and they're like, okay. And that's the only response they give.
That should be the end of the conversation.
Yeah, you can discuss the merits of them and whatnot, and I'm sure we do that too.
Yeah.
But they don't start a fight about it.
No.
And most of the time, if you're a casual fan who just watches them to have some fun for 2 hours every now and again, well, then you say, okay, and then you just stop talking about it.
Yeah.
The immature people, the people who make it their whole life, their whole personality trait is liking Star Wars.
Yeah.
You don't like Star Wars! You don't like Star Wars! and then they say... And
Thank
then
you
they
killed my audio.
And then they look at things like Jar Jar Binks, and they push the actor of Jar Jar Binks to nearly commit suicide. And that's what happened with him.
Oh, yeah, Ahmed Best.
I don't even think that guy acts anymore. And then
I don't think he did. He did go.
Does he?
I appreciate this about him. He went to one of the Star Wars celebrations with the guy who played the Emperor and a few other people, and he was round of applauded as all right, go for that guy.
The Star Wars fandom owes him an apology first of all.
Friggin'
So
yeah.
that's the least you can do.
And the same thing with
the kid who played young Anakin.
Yeah.
And then years later,
What's her name that plays Rose?
Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose. I wasn't a huge fan of her character, but her as an actress, it was not her fault. Whatever you dislike about that character,
No,
it's not
she
her
was
fault.
not her fault. It was the writing.
It was the script she was given, and even then, I don't think she was that terrible. I wasn't a huge fan of her character, but in any case, she did not deserve the reaction she got. Mm-hmm. And just
No, if you go out of your way to bully someone for something that they're getting, like, that's stupid. Like, you can 100% disagree with it. Like, I don't like her character at all. I think her character was garbage. I don't think the person's bad just because the freaking character was crap.
And her as an actress, she was perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's not
there was
like
nothing wrong with her at all.
Yeah, it's something to say, like, if you go out of your way to bully somebody, to send those kinds of death threats, because people do that. That's rough. That's not cool. But yeah, I don't think it's like, and I do think it's fine to distinguish people who just don't like it. And that will also go for like the lady in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. What's her face?
I hardly even remember her. I hardly remember much from the Obi-Wan series.
Why do you think I'm trying to remember her name right now? Moses Ingram. Like the amount of death threats she got. Like she got a lot of hatred for that.
Oh, are you talking about the girl who played the Inquisitor?
Yeah. Inquisitor. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, the most like that character.
Yeah, like that's
didn't deserve
the Star Wars fandom. Honestly,
didn't deserve it. Didn't deserve it. I mean, my only problem with that is Disney was like, there's a whole thing about Disney like prepping her. Like you're gonna have some prepping her for some backlash. If you know she's gonna have backlash, like. Don't you know her character is terrible in that case? Like, that's stupid. You know the character's terrible, and you're prepping her for it.
That's...
Because we didn't have a problem with it until we realized her character was terrible. Get out of here.
It's the same thing with Marvel. Like, the reason that that no one ever dies unless your contract is up in Marvel is because they want to keep you around for, like, later movies. Yeah. It's the same thing in Star Wars. Like, Emilia Clarke's character in Solo, how, like, nothing happened with her, and she didn't die. She didn't like her story didn't really end.
Stars, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, and she just kind of disappeared. Like they were saving her from for a comic book series or a novel, or to potentially bring her back for another TV show or a movie or whatever. Yeah. That's what they're doing. They just want to keep making things. It doesn't even matter what they are. It's we'll make a Boba Fett series because people like Boba Fett, but we'll also make a series about this one person that no one's ever met before, and we don't even know if anyone likes them yet. Yeah.
Star Wars just isn't fun to talk about anymore. Star Wars is not fun anymore.
That's the thing. I think actually George Lucas said this one time. Maybe it's like someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I think like one of the reasons he sold it. This might be just me speculating, but I think one of the reasons he sold it is just like it's just not fun anymore.
Yeah,
he said that. Not fun anymore.
It's a corporate machine at this point. I mean,
like it wasn't even a corporate machine by that point. Like
he got like a lot of creative freedom with this stuff.
Yeah, he said he wasn't even a part of like any of the extended universe stuff before Disney bought it. Yeah. So he hadn't been a part of the creative process for a long time.
It used to be so fun. Star Wars used to be a special thing.
Yeah,
and now it's not special anymore.
And that is a sad. They have made good things. Like the ending.
Rogue One's great. Rogue One's freaking awesome.
Rogue One is fun. The ending of Clone Wars is really great.
So good.
Mandalorian is really solid.
Pretty good.
I really like the Fallen Order video game.
Oh, the Fallen Order is great. I replay that crap all the time. The next one's coming out. I'll buy that on the first day.
They've made good stuff. It's hit and miss, but they've made good stuff.
Yeah.
It just tires me after a while.
Yeah.
Obviously not if you're still going about it.
Well, yes. Like,
let's talk about something else.
That's why I was saying it's just like, do we really want to get in this conversation? Because it's just going to be the same thing people are talking about over and over again.
Let's talk about something else for a second. You had brought up Nope a while back. I kind of want to talk about Nope for a second. Oh my god. Can we talk about Nope for a second?
Okay. What do you think of Nope?
Full spoilers ahead. Opinions first. I love that movie. I didn't even love it the first time. I just really enjoyed it. Yeah. And then I watched it a second time. You were there. Yeah, I freaking liked it again. Then I watched it a third time. You weren't there. It was so good. And it's one of those, like, again, like Top Gun Maverick, it's just a movie that clicks for me. And I think Top Gun Maverick's a little higher on the spectrum of enjoyability for me, but Nope is like right there. And I don't even know what particularly part about the movie is so enjoyable. I just like it's the brother-sister element because I have brothers and sisters, and that part really rung true for me at the end. I was trying to like face away from you a little bit when we saw it, but like when he did this near the end, I was like near tears. I was like, I'm trying to look away.
I will cry in a movie regardless. And I have
Yeah.
a sister too, and I'm like, it's funny because I do the same thing with my sister. That's me.
It rings so true.
It nails the sibling
Oh, Jesus, so
aspect
good.
100%.
Because the younger one starts out piece of garbage. Like, she comes in the scene like, I want to smack you. Like, you're so annoying. Not actual violence, obviously. No. But still, at the same time, like, you're a sibling. Like, I hate you so much right now. You're so annoying.
But you can't hate on Keke Palmer though. Respectfully, as a fangirl from True Jackson VP, you cannot hate on Keke Palmer.
She grew on me throughout, and I really liked her near the end. But at the beginning, like, annoying little sister traits, I'm telling you.
It's a testament to the writing in the script.
So
what
good.
Jordan Peele can do with a character. Because I thought, I'm like, please say this man did not just typecast her in this one-dimensional, super loud, annoying younger sibling role that doesn't take responsibility. Because I'm going to get really mad and really pissed and really disappointed after these last two very substantially, like, heavy films that he's made, and then you make this character. I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
But he did such a good job. It was just-
Perfect job.
and then the beast, like the monster
Oof.
of the movie, what he did with that was great. Jace.
That was a great twist on that. And again, I guess I wasn't expecting too much of a twist. I knew there was going to be something unexpected, but that whole like creating a beast out of the actual thing that we think is a machine, like that's freaking neat. And it led to the most horrifying shot in the whole freaking film.
Oh God, everyone getting digested.
Where you just see everyone getting digested, and even the worse after, not even like the spilling blood on the house when he's puking up their remains, not even that, but just hearing them in the sky screaming, and you know they're still alive.
Because you would think when you're filming that shot, it's like, okay, you got the big bad monster getting everybody, because guess what? They got a little greedy, and since the whole thing about spectacle, they got the spectacle. The monster's pissed. Time to swoop them all up. That's the end of the shot, right? You would cut.
Nope.
No. Jordan Peele goes in and goes inside the monster and just keeps honing on the screams. The horse carcass that was in there, the people getting fucking suctioned to death. That was... Ugh. It is one of the most horrifying scenes, I think, that I've seen in like any movie this year.
Yep.
Like, it's...
And it's horrifying not because you see like them getting digested, but you know all the implications, and you're figuring it out as they're figuring it out, and they're going in like, this isn't a ship. What the heck is this? And then you start to slowly realize like, oh my gosh.
It's literally not a ship, it's a monster.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
Okay, I gotta ask you this.
Yo, go ahead.
What do you think is the deal with the Georgie?
With Georgie?
With the monkey. Why is Georgie important?
I got a question that kind of relates to that, but Georgie was really like something that was supposed to, I guess, symbolize, and I didn't get it the first time. I didn't like it the first time, to be honest with you. I didn't like that aspect. But as
I didn't get it the first time either.
You may have explained it to me, or Ariel may have explained it to me, or someone may have explained it to me. That monkey essentially kind of represents the monster, in my opinion. I guess the monster of the movie, because we're trying to tame something that was supposed to meant to be in the wild, and we're trying to make it a whole spectacle. Same with the brother and sister with the alien ship. They're trying to make a spectacle out of it instead of just, I guess, leaving it alone or whatever. Like, it's a monster. You run the frick away. You don't stay and make it a spectacle. Like, same with the monkey. Like, you don't stay and make that thing a spectacle and make that thing like the star of your show. And when something like crazy like that happens, you're never going to see it coming. Same with the monster and sucking everybody up. You can't make a spectacle out of it. It's just going to eat you. It's just going to kill you.
It's just really funny because everything is spectacle. Like the guy on the motorcycle from TMZ, spectating on them, turning it back around on them, ironically enough. He's trying to figure out what's going on the ranch. Because all those people got sucked up. Ooh, what happened to them? People on the ranch were the spectacle for the monster. The monster is spectating everybody. And then Jupe is spectating the monster and vice versa. And you just have so much spectacle and things spectating across the whole movie, which, I mean, I guess that's like the whole point. I remember when we first watched it, and I was like, I don't know if I get it. And then we just had to keep talking through the movie. And then finally, it like eventually clicked for us. We're like, yeah, of course. Like, oh, yeah, what about this? And
It's something that grows on you the more you think about it.
It does.
You want to know one thing
What's up?
that blew my mind? Okay, you know the quote at the very beginning of the movie? He's quoting a Bible verse.
I keep forgetting. Yeah.
very beginning.
It says I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like, I will make a spectacle out of you. I will consume you in some way. That the Bible verse it's quoting, and You want to know something that blew my mind? A friend of mine brought up.
I brought it up. Continue.
The monster
Yeah.
is an angel.
Oh, I did not bring that. I lied.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I said something else about
I didn't
it.
want to call you out just then, but I...
Interesting you say that, because my biggest fear was going to be, like, as a Christian, I'm saying this, my biggest fear is, like, this would, like, when I saw the trailers, like, are they going to make this, like, some kind of religious spectacle kind of thing? Like, that was something in my head. I don't know what made me think that, but, like, I don't know about this. Like, this is going to... And then it was just aliens, so that was fine with me. But why is it... I'm interested. Why is it an angel?
Well, you know, like, how the Bible actually describes how an angel looks?
Yeah,
it's
not
very-
even close.
Not even close. No,
What we think
it's
an
not a
angel looks
person
like.
with wings.
When they're like just, they're terrified in the
creepy-
Bible. It's for a reason. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
it's,
gosh,
it's a giant eyeball, but with like 6 wings, and
Yep.
yeah, it's really creepy looking. Mm-hmm. Take another look at that
Oh,
monster.
at the end, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right? It's an angel, dude. The quote at the beginning saying, I will make you a spectacle, I will consume you, something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. But, dude, that's the angel saying, I will make a spectacle out of you. I will consume
It's
you.
Gabriel. He's back.
Yes! That's what. Don't fall. Don't fall to your death, okay?
Don't fall.
That was partially intentional, but at the same time, like, I'm gonna die. What the heck?
And so, yeah, it's just so great. I remember me and my roommate we were talking about it for like 2 hours straight, and just like digging through, because there's layers and layers and layers that you can just keep digging through. And on its face, it's a very simple premise.
It
Like,
is, and it's a very simple. Like, to be honest with you, like in a lot of execution, it is kind of simple.
I mean, it does what it's supposed to.
It does exactly what it's supposed to.
It's a summer blockbuster. It's what Jorden Peele wanted to do. He took his, inspiration from the Third Kind and Jaws, and
Yeah, he filmed it in IMAX. He made it a whole spectacle, which in and of itself, a whole thing. Yeah. But he made his movie about spectacle.
At first, like I definitely wasn't bored. I got entertainment out of it, but I didn't get it until you started thinking about it. It's like, at least we brought up Georgie. Georgie was a wild animal. It's like, chimps are vicious animals. Did you know that they have a plan of attack before they kill something? Mm-hmm. Like they attack your hands so you can't fight back. They attack your jaw so you can't bite them. Mm-hmm. They're vicious animals. And it was brought into a TV show to be essentially a dress-up doll for human entertainment.
Yeah.
And then we reap the consequences of that. And
Homegirl doesn't have a face anymore.
People are dead.
Jupe is like, haha, my trauma was on SNL. Haha, how funny, right? I'm basically an icon. Ha, ha. But it's like, secretly he's like using that as like a shield for his trauma. Like, dude, you watch someone almost get beat to death. You watch multiple people die on set, and you're like, yeah.
But
wasn't
even
that
he
cool?
didn't learn from it, and he's repeating the same mistakes that
Jupe is
he
actually
grew up
one of
with.
the most interesting characters in the movie, because like he, like you know how being famous as a child kind of messes you up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, he got super famous on a super popular show when he was a kid, and now I don't think he knows how to like operate in the world without like being famous and like showing himself off in some way. So he like makes this theme park themed around himself. He has this like compartment, this closet, whatever, that he charges people to come see.
Yeah.
And like he wants to keep like, this
some
was a
demons, my dude.
horrible thing that happened to him, but he wants to perpetuate it and keep it going because he just doesn't know. He needs to be famous. He just doesn't know how else to operate.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how else to live.
I
And
also think, like, with that, what's it called? He also pimps himself out. I can't remember, like, if I read it somewhere. I think we were talking about it. That he, oh gosh, I'm losing the train. The train is rolling off the tracks. He said he basically survived by chance, by their bonding and Georgie knowing him so well that, he went to dap him up before he got, murked by the police, that, oh my God, that's a sign. Like, I was saved by that spectacle. I can tame the beasts of the world and blah, 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 whatever. Some BS like that. But we see him literally get eaten by Jean Jacket, and you're like, never mind, nope. You overstep those boundaries. You, like, what's it called? OJ says, like, you have to respect the beast. You can't look it in the eye. You got to treat it like it's like a wild animal. It's kind of like the horses, and that symbol. Oh my God, on your phone during the podcast?
Yeah. I wonder who did that before.
Couldn't be me a few episodes back.
I literally have a clip of you doing that. I'm going to post it on Instagram pretty soon.
Oh, God. Iconic.
But I want to talk about my man Daniel Kaluuya for a second. My goodness, that man. Not only do I identify with this man so much, as he is a clearly humongous introvert, doesn't want to talk to people, and is quiet for the majority of the movie. Freaking love this man. But he is like the anti-horror guy. He does not do the dumb horror things. He gets out his phone and I'm not gonna be stupid and get in my phone, take a picture of this.
Nope.
Or when he's when the monster's right above him, he doesn't take a look. He just and close the door.
Nope.
Nope.
Staying right here.
He's the anti-horror movie guy right there.
Every black person who gets got in a horror movie, if you notice, they always the red trope t-shirt, the red t-shirt trope, or the black person trope in a movie. It's oh, they're gonna die next, haha. Who's gonna get got next? Oh, the black person, the person in the red shirt,
Yeah.
Even Star Trek played on that thing for a while, the whole red shirt.
The whole red shirt thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was making that as the trope with the generic here's your generic token black guy in a movie, and then he's gonna die first. Now obviously freaking May, nope.
No,
not to do any of that
he's
crap.
every person in a movie. When you're watching a horror movie and you see something scary, you're absolutely not.
No.
Fuck
No.
that,
You see, cause I think Jorden Peele had mentioned that he's basing that character on a lot of what the audience is saying in the theater, and and when they see something happen like that, I'm not doing that. I'm not going around the corner. So many characters in movies are getting closer to the monster in the closet and closer to the monster in the closet. This character's not only does he not go in the closet, he gets in the car and drives away.
And then the monster retaliates by chucking a giant metal horse at his truck.
Yeah, and spitting blood on his house.
Yeah.
It was a great movie. I enjoyed it rather much, rather dandy, rather good. But it's one of those movies I really do actually, and I'm not one of those guys who likes to necessarily digest movies in that way, because I think a lot of movies are more shallow than we give them for, and I think going beyond certain substances, it doesn't really mean that much.
It's not that
But there are some movies like The Green Knight. Have either of you seen The Green Knight?
I have not seen The Green Knight.
I've read The Green Knight. I have not watched it.
Don't go into that movie thinking it's going to be exactly like that, because this is one of those movies that, unlike Rian Johnson's movies, it goes against your expectations, but in a really good way. It's a really great movie, and the ending is one of the best endings of all time, in my opinion. It is absolute freaking perfect. And I could talk about the movie forever, and I have talked about the movie forever, because it's come out 2 years ago, and I'm still talking about it. It's freaking awesome. And that's kind of the same thing with Nope. I have such a fun time talking about it, and it's not something that I think is necessarily being pretentious. I just think it's within the messaging of the movie, and you can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's still executed in a summer blockbuster fashion, but there's a little more under the surface, and if you care to unpack it, you'll get a reward.
It's like what I was hearing when people were when I was seeing reviews that people didn't like it, and they were I was just expecting something different, more like a Get Out type of thing, and I'm
yeah.
He is 5 years removed from that movie at this point. He's not making another Get Out.
No.
He will have, black people in his stories, because obviously he's black, and tell, use them as a voice or a vehicle, but he's not going to be oh my God, racism is the overtone of every single movie I'm making from here on out. He's not going to do that.
Yeah.
If people think that,
he didn't do it with Us, which granted Us still kind of sucked, but
what?
What? It does.
Us? What? We might have to fight about that, but.
I got sticks.
Well, cool. We'll do it on camera now.
Yeah, we can go outside and put them in a little champagne bottle, drink that, and come back inside.
I'm just happy to be here.
But the thing with Nope is Nope is very not clear with what it's about. Is past the surface level, there's these guys. They're trying to get a picture of an alien. Mm-hmm. The alien fights back. They defeat the alien by the end. That's the surface level.
Yeah,
you can get that. But then what's the stuff with the
monkey?
What's the monkey?
What the heck?
Why are we going back to the monkey?
Also freaking. What is the shoe? I don't understand. I still don't understand what the shoe is.
I think a lot of us don't understand the shoe.
What the heck is the shoe? It's standing up. And when he
I honestly don't know what I think about the shoe.
Yeah, I don't know either. And when he displays it in his office,
I'm sure
it's still in that same position.
I'm sure it's a very intentional something.
A miracle?
But I don't know. I'm sure it's I see it as like a very small detail. Maybe it's like super important. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like Nope it does not hold your hand. You are supposed to figure
hold your
it
hand?
out. No, it
Doesn't hold your hand exactly as you're tapping like this.
But in if you go back to Get Out, it's very obvious what Get Out is talking about.
Oh, pretty, yeah.
It's like you can't miss it. In Nope, it's a bit more obtuse, but you can figure it out. In Nope, like
You mean us?
You mean us?
You said nope twice.
Oh, in Us, it's a bit more difficult to penetrate.
Yeah.
But
You can figure it out.
you can figure it out. Shut up. But in Nope, when I first walked out of that, I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
See, Us was the big thing that I have with a lot of art house movies. Like, I don't like a lot of art house movies because I think they're trying to overreach, and I think they're trying to say something and forsake character and story along the way. That's my big, and that was my problem with Us. That's why when we reached the end, I thought it was trying to say something instead of like building up these characters. And I guess the twist from a million miles away. And it just didn't seem like, and I think all these characters forsake logic and like legitimate characters that they actually built up from the beginning to either say something or yada yada yada. I hate that when that happens. But in the case of GoodNight or Nope, none of that happens.
How do they do things that are illogical?
For what the heck? Stop. So there are so many instances where like the kids should very much be freaking traumatized by everything that happens, but are like very nonchalantly killing people. I don't appreciate that. And the dad is just a freaking moron throughout so much of the movie, and he kind of is that stereotype quite a bit of the time. And like the very ending, the wife just says, "I'm going to go down there alone because I need I need to do this by myself." And even though the dad's like he's limping and stuff, like he's go down there with her, help her out. She has like you know what she's gonna face down there. Freaking help her out. Get a shotgun and go boom. Do any of that instead of staying behind and being useless.
Well, the wife at the end. Spoilers for.
And by the way, I will say like
Spoilers?
what's her name? The main character.
I don't know.
The one praise I'll give to this movie. I can't forget her name in real life.
You mean Lupita?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o. She is the savior of this movie. She freaking saves it. Her performance is awesome. And even the characters at the beginning, I enjoyed at the beginning. I like their build-up. Continuing on, they're stupid, but...
I mean, how is the dad an idiot?
So many dumb mistakes, like at the boat where he's like flipping all over the place and doing dumb stuff, and where he's again leaving his wife to just go down there by herself with potential death in the freaking.
Well, he's also limping.
Area.
He can't really do anything.
He's limping, but at the same time, like I don't like you could still get over that. Like your leg's not broken. Go down there, help her.
Lupita Nyong'o's character, who we think is the normal one,
yes,
she is actually the doppelganger who left the normal one down in there.
I know,
and so she has to go down in there by herself, otherwise people are going to find out her secret.
I know the reasons. It's just the reasons behind it just seems like we're trying to get her down there as much as possible, so we need to get these characters on the other side. And I didn't appreciate that. Also, I guess the twists at the very like midpoint. Remember when she's killing one of the twin daughters and she has that moment where she's like raging up in a point where we've never seen her character do that before. And as soon as she did that, I'm like, oh, they switched. She's not normal. She switched out. As soon as that happened, I figured that out. I guess that's not a bad thing. Like the twist is okay, I guess. I don't know. There's just it's one of the movies that just didn't click with me.
You keep saying that you don't appreciate. You think it's contriving certain situations in order to make a point.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I would argue that's every movie ever made.
True.
100%. But what point do you think it's trying to make?
What point do I think it's trying to make?
Yeah.
I think there's a whole point about government like hiding certain things, and it like just wreaking havoc on the population. Because the whole point of it is like there's these twins of everybody, or these clones of everybody on planet Earth, and they just rise up from their creators, from the forgotten places, and then they take over on a world that they were freaking forgotten from. And you can make a whole statement about that, about classism and whatever. And it was being very intentional about that. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing. You can make a movie about whatever you want, but in my opinion, that's kind of takes me out of the movie because you're really trying to reach for a message when I don't think you needed to. and I don't like. That's just not my type of movie.
So you think the point of the movie is government distrust?
Partial government distrust and like classism or something, because there's a whole classism thing of like we were down in the slumps and then you lived up there and we were trying to do is be like you.
Okay, what do you think the Bible verse is? Like the guy saying the end is near. That guy near the beginning of the movie. What do you think the Bible verse is about?
Oh, I forgot about the Bible verse entirely. It's been a while since I've seen Us.
Yeah.
What do you think?
There's a Bible verse in Us?
I don't remember. What do you
Is there
think?
a Bible verse in Us?
Yeah. The meek shall inherit the earth.
He has a lot of Bible verses.
Really biblical.
That is the type of filmmaker Jorden Peele is.
Yeah. But that's
He's-
like...
He said,
if you read the Bible, that's going against the Bible entirely. Like everything that says.
The meek shall inherit the earth?
The meek shall inherit the earth.
How?
That little part is going entirely against it.
How so?
What the context of that verse is that the quiet people, the people who live quiet lives, which is what God tells us to do, humble lives, those people, those are the ones that God cherishes. Those are the ones that God loves, not the rich and powerful, not the people that hoist themselves up, the people who are humble, who are quiet, who are loving, those kinds of people. That's what they're referencing in the Bible. These guys are murderers, killing everybody and saying joining hand in hand in kumbaya at the end.
Yeah, but they are the humble ones. They are the ones working and toiling away, while the people who benefit from their work benefit from what they're doing while they're suffering for their enjoyment.
Yeah, but one we never knew. Like if there were was there a clone of me?
Well,
if there was the exact situation of us in real life. If there was a clone of me, I never knew you existed. Why would I know? That's not my fault at all. That's whoever made you. There's a whole government thing or whatever of clone everybody. That's not my fault. And so that side of like, I'm going to murder you because you live a better life than me. Why don't you just come up here and you'll be my homeboy? You can stand right there. I'll teach you how to speak English. Let's read some Harry Potter. Let's watch some Harry Potter. Let's get a beer. I'll teach you how to drink a Turning Point beer. Great Turning Point beer, by the way. And then we'll have a great time. You could have done that.
Well, that was also there's a supernatural element of like there has to be one person below and one person above.
Okay.
Maybe
I forgot that part.
These are the. I believe it's a supernatural explanation. And
I don't remember. I haven't watched it in so long.
And then
Ariel's done.
If we're being honest, I haven't watched it in forever.
there has to be one person below and one person above.
Yeah.
This person has to suffer so you can enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Yeah.
And then they're going to rise up because like isn't that what happens all throughout history? Is like if you oppress a certain populace, then then eventually that populace is going to get mad at you, and they're going to say, "Why am I suffering?" And then you enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Sure,
that's just an inevitability that no one's going to say is going to stay put upon.
These
forever.
are my bananas. I want my bananas in my area. Give me my bananas back.
This is just
shut your mouth, Ariel. I know what you're thinking.
I wasn't thinking that, but now you said it. Okay.
Oh no, I was thinking that I'm the bad.
So you're
person.
the dirty one this time,
not
not
me. Bad
me.
person.
Not me.
Dang it, I messed up.
But it's a supernatural parallel to like what happens when someone is oppressed.
Yeah.
Now that person, those people are going to rise up against you, and because you did not appreciate or you did not allow them to partake in the fruits of their labors, and you enjoyed the product of something that you didn't work for. You are being punished for this, and they are spiteful towards you, and that's just not sustainable. An oppressed populace and an upper class.
Sure, it's not my kind of taste. It's your kind of taste. I think it's great that you like Us, and I think that's great that Jorden Peele is able to make those kinds of movies. Because Us is not nearly the same as Get Out, and Get Out is not nearly the same as freaking Nope. And it's such a freaking different type of movie, and it's a very different experience each way you hit it. So it's nice. Sure. And again, I did not go into Nope expecting that I would like it. I just think, like, aliens, let's freaking do it. And like, oh, monkey at the very beginning killing people. Interesting. Going into that experience was a completely different experience than Us. And again, completely different experience from Get Out. So I like it.
Well, I do want to touch on like, you say you don't like digging into movies very much.
That's not necessarily true. I don't like movies that try to preach. I guess I should word it that way. I don't like movies that try to preach. I do like digging into movies because I have a podcast about talking about movies.
Well, thematically, I mean.
Thematically, again, not necessarily. I guess it's certain type of movies I don't. But I do like talking. Again, Green Knight. I can talk about the movie every day of the week, all day. But so yes, I like talking. I like diving thematically into movies. I don't like preachy movies.
What do you define as preachy, though?
What have I defined as preachy? Here's my message in your face, and if you didn't get it, let me hammer it in a little more. Those kinds of movies.
I didn't rhyme, but that was okay.
It wasn't supposed to.
It's bad.
I am not a poet,
We know.
and you do know it.
I do know it. I do know it. Yeah, I do.
knew it.
Well, some might say it's something like Nope is preachy in some way because like.
But Nope is you can take it or leave it.
It's not so like in your
You can
face.
like dig in between the lines. Nope is not in your like you said. Nope is not in your face. I think Us is a little more in your face. Nope is like, and also the same thing with the Get Out. You know everything that Get Out is, so I wouldn't even necessarily say it's preachy. Like you know exactly what that is. Nope is again take or leave it.
Well, Get Out is like it's much more obvious what
Yeah.
Get Out is talking about.
Right.
So
It's like made it well known that it's about race. You know, like the cool dad saying like he voted for Obama. He's like, what y'all got with this thing going on?
It's about the
Yeah.
social tensions between races.
Yes.
Yeah. So what makes that not preachy, but makes Us preachy, which I would say is like is hiding its thesis a lot more thoroughly than Get Out does, which just makes it very obvious.
I think the emotional center of Nope resonates with me in a way where that movie could be about that, this brotherly sister relationship. At the end of the movie, I didn't really think it was anything about family. And I think as the movie kind of went on, I kind of felt a little more detached from the characters in Us. From the very beginning, I liked them and I wanted to get to know them more. But as it continued on, like I feel a weird sense of detached, and it doesn't feel more about the characters at this point. It feels like it's more or less trying to get to the point like this was the point, and then there's this giant ending shot of everybody kumbayaing across the states, and I feel like it was trying to say something instead of getting to the logical conclusion of someone's story, if that makes sense.
And what is the logical conclusion of Lupita Nyong'o's story, do you think?
I guess finding a family when she didn't have one before, but she already had one, so keeping her family a secret. That's the problem I have a little bit, because I don't really know that much. I know the conclusion of these two characters. There was a little glance in between, little glance at the very end is like, hey, differences aside, I love you, bro. That kind of thing. Again, brotherly affection, sisterly affection. Love that kind of stuff.
I wonder why.
Because I have brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, that's what I was also getting at. What are we doing? What are we doing?
That connected with me, and that seemed to be like the end of the arc. The ending of the story was both them looking at each other like, "Oh, thank God we're alive. We lived through that." At the end of that, the ending of Us was a twist I saw coming, so it didn't seem satisfying to me.
You want to know another great Jorden Peele movie?
Yes, tell me now.
Have you seen Keanu?
Freaking no! But I love
That gives me
Keeler
Colton.
Peele.
That gives me Colton vibes so hard.
Oh, we should honestly, because my entire family is like obsessed with like the Key and Peele skits.
Yeah.
Like we love the Balake freaking thing.
Balake.
Like Balake. We say that in like family, like Balake.
D-nice. D-nice.
D-nice. I will rain fire. Like I don't know what he said. Like what did he say? We're gonna go to war.
I will rain
whatever he
down
said.
hellfire on this class.
Son of a. It was lovely. I haven't seen every Key and Peele skit, but that's just the one I always go back to.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the one where it's also like the husband's hiding out, where it's like, and I said,
What about the racist zombies one?
I was gonna bring that up.
Racist zombies.
Like this zombie's a racist. He's locking his car. He's walking by like, oh my gosh, this zombie's a racist. They hit a freaking comedy gold mine, and it makes me angry that he hasn't been in any of his movies.
Well, they split up and they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, that's true. He's
I
doing
think
more of
they're
I mean, I guess Keel's doing more of an acting, and Jordan's doing the directing.
Did you know they're making a new movie for Netflix? That's coming out
Please
in
tell
like
me.
a couple
oh
days.
yeah, the
Which
stop
one?
motion one. The
Yeah,
little stop
Stop
motion.
motion one.
From the director of Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a stop motion movie where Key and Peele voice the two main characters.
Oh, I will be there day
it
one.
It says two scheming demon brothers, Wendell and Wild, must face their arch nemesis, the demon-dusting nun Sister Helly, and two
acolytes.
And two acolytes, the goth teens Kat and Raoul. Raoul. I can't speak English.
So mayo.
I cannot speak English.
Rowley.
Crying for you.
However, Raoul cannot see them, so Kat helps Wendell and Wild to help them.
He almost messed that one up, too.
Yeah.
He almost messed that one up,
Can you please?
No. My whole job is to roast you. I'm the funny one, remember?
We need to do like an entire roasting segment. I think maybe my brother have actually like talked about having a segment of podcast where we literally just insult the crap out of each other the entire time. Like, let's freaking do it.
I could do a really good job on that one because I'd literally be like size less. And that's all I would say.
Oh my gosh. The most generic insult I've heard my entire life.
Well, okay,
no way.
It was from like middle school, so yeah, it's generic.
No, it was from when I was born. The doctor said it. It was ridiculous.
No, he did not.
No, he didn't. I'm sure he did. He thought it, though.
We
Size
thought
more.
it.
There's some jokes I can make.
As 12 and 13-year-olds, trust me, we all thought it and said it. We thought we were so funny.
Everyone said it. Like, you mean size less? Like,
I
oh my
didn't
gosh.
get it at first, and then
Last
size more,
name.
size less.
You ruined the joke.
I don't think there was a joke to be ruined.
It wasn't. It's barely a joke.
Middle school. We came up with this in middle school.
You didn't come up with it. Everyone came up with it.
Well, we called your brother microscopic, so
that was funny
because he was short. So
that's actually.
But now he's taller than me.
That's kind of clever.
which is saying a lot about you.
Hi, I'm tiny. I'm
we
short.
know.
I'm a small
I
person.
remember I used to think you were so tall. I was like 5 foot 4'11".
And then everyone had a growth spurt except me.
This is true.
I was left behind in the growth spurt area.
You were left behind.
I'm a very tiny person.
You also forget your whole family is not like 6 feet tall.
No, I'm taller than my dad, and my dad's pretty short. My mom's pretty short. My brother only got somewhat of a taller gene. Like he's still smaller than most, and he's just taller than me. Not saying much.
I remember when he was tiny.
Yeah.
Extreme being.
I remember when he was tiny, and then he just shot up. It's like, dang it,
Yeah.
you're taller.
I've always been tall. My grandma's tall. My mom was tall. My granddads were both tall. My grandma's 5'11". So there's that. So my dad's the short one. He's like 5'7". So
I'm 6 feet tall.
Freaking despise you right now.
Well, I thought you were like 6 foot 6'1", according to your roommates.
Ben says I'm 6'1". I'm not 6'1".
It's because you're not giving off the energy. You have to give off the right energy. Give off tall energy, and you shall receive.
I give off soy boy energy.
Can you give off short boy energy?
Yes, you can give off energy that like, oh, woe is me, I'm not tall, but he's clearly tall. Clearly. From this couch.
I think my hair's so long. I'm just going to do this.
Oh, I did find a picture of you with the spiky
you should do like
porcupine hair.
You should
Ooh,
do
yeah.
like no. You should do the alfalfa thing from Little Rascals.
Oh.
And just it'll give you like several inches probably.
Oh no, he did the porcupine hair, like the porcupine from Surf's Up.
Yep, did that.
He did that for like 2 years.
It was rough.
It was not a look.
So many people told me to stop, and I didn't. Which is kind of what it is now, but not as much.
No. You had like hairspray, and it was like this tall.
It was rough.
And your whole forehead was out like this.
There was a skyscraper happening. It was rough.
You wanted to be tall for the ladies.
You need to do the alfalfa thing from Little Rascals.
I can't do that.
You need to do that.
I freaking can't.
You can't do it. The
It's
people need
against
to
my
see.
religion.
The people need to see. There's not.
You
You show
can
me.
do
You
it.
show me the Bible verse that says you can't do the alfalfa thing
And
from
Foos,
Little Rascals.
and first Dune economy, it says, "Do not Ralph Raffles the raffles."
Did you
And
just
the-
say dude economy?
Dude,
Dude economy.
Dude economy?
Duty economy. Duty economy.
Do the economy.
Do.
Hashtag the economy. I'm just saying.
It's not really what I meant, but all right.
I mean, these gas prices, this inflation, and this economy.
This economy, in this time, it takes me $7 to buy a piece of gum.
Takes me like $12 to buy a candy bar. It ain't easy living, but it's hard work.
All right, that's going to be the end of this podcast.
Oh, is it?
Today it is because it is because probably my battery life is going to die pretty soon, and really the dictation. I'm going to put Steve back on here in his rightful spot as the king of this house. And oddly enough, when he rests up here, he's taller than me. So,
He's gobbling, swallowing that mic stand. I'll tell you what.
There's a joke I can make that I'm really trying hard not to
I
make.
already made the joke because if anybody listens to Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. They'll know what I'm talking about.
Anyone here does. You look at me. I'm too pasty for that.
Too pasty to
I'm
handle.
too pasty for that.
I don't watch that. I don't even know what that is. I don't
WAP?
know what the name's.
WAP.
What's WAP?
You don't know what
He'll
WAP
know,
is?
he'll know. He'll figure it out when he's older. He'll figure it out when he's older.
I have no idea what that is.
Good.
I'm
gonna show you-
I'm
gonna
nervous
show you
about
WAP
saying
after
it.
This. Even
I'm
dude,
nervous.
my pasty ass knows what WAP is.
You know what? You know what? He's just a good boy who goes to church and reads his Bible.
It's right there.
Yeah, we see it.
Right on top of the book that says "Eat your Bible."
Yum. I love a good snack.
So does Steve, but he doesn't have a stomach.
So
That's gonna be-
unfortunate.
It's a sad life. It's a sad existence being a skull.
Very.
He's got nice cold eyes though.
I like it.
Yeah.
He's making
Jack
eyes over here.
Skellington made it. You know.
He
He's-
did make it.
he
He
seems
did.
to
He
live- have a
had
happy
a pretty
life,
good living for himself.
So, like, what does he
Living.
eat?
Living though.
Well,
is it a living?
It's a bit contradictory to who he actually is.
If you're like making money, if you're like living paycheck to paycheck as like a Skellington, do you make a living?
Or do you make a death?
Do you make a dying? That doesn't.
You make an effort.
I'm not even making.
You
a
make
joke.
an effort.
You make an effort.
You just try. You just try.
You know what I'm doing, guys? My best.
I am doing my best, and I am at my limit. I am at
my
my
limits. But she doesn't live the life that Jack Skellington does. No one lives the life that Jack Skellington does.
None of us can be as cool as Jack Skellington.
No
I don't know,
one
man.
can ever be as cool as Jack Skellington.
Post grad check to check, I'd say I'm living. Not even living. I'm dying. I'm dying.
We're
Jacob.
all dying. Isn't that philosophical? We're all dying.
Yeah.
As soon as you're born is when you start dying.
Exactly. It's freaking.
If you ain't living, you're dying. I was trying to quote Shawshank and I messed up the quote.
Get busy living or get busy living or get busy dying. Get
That's
out of here.
what it is.
Freaking telling me freaking Shawshank quotes, messing it up, doing a terrible job. Ernesto, my dude, roll those credits.